Hi, Dr. J. My name is Freddie Edwards. I'm currently enrolled in your Management 615 Strategic Planning course. This is my week 6 ethical news story video assignment. I'm going to dive right into the assignment. One organization that at some point almost everyone has used, will use, or is currently using is a bank. People put their money in banks to keep them safe. And in order to do this, they have to open an account with personal information so that no one else has access to their money. There are many different banks to use and different ways to bank. One of these banking organizations is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo was founded on March 18th, 1852. They've been known to be successful through the gold rush in the early 20th century, through the Depression, many wars. Wells Fargo has earned a reputation of being trustworthy because of their loyalty and attention to their customers. They pride themselves on being a trustworthy company that has strong ethics, take care of its customers, and are essentially built on trust. Wells Fargo recently had a large ethics scandal. The public learned that Wells Fargo had many employees who were not trustworthy and were behaving immorally, unethically, and illegally. It was then that everyone learned that the employees had been opening new accounts using current customers' personal information. There were a great number of fraudulent accounts open, including checking, savings, and credit cards. The number of fraudulent accounts being open reached around 3.5 million accounts without the approval or authorization of the existing customers. At the time the scandal was revealed that Wells Fargo's employees had been behaving illegally, the bank not only had a mission statement that prided itself on being ethical, but also had a 37-page vision and value brochure that explained how the bank puts its customers first and used the word trust within that brochure 24 times. Trust is one thing that was broken, and the employees did not live up to the expectations or values that the bank had promised and assured its customers. Former employees of Wells Fargo that had stepped up and tried to bring attention to the wrongdoing by some employees were eventually fired for other reasons. This goes against the external value the bank had advertised about ethics. Even when leaders learned of what was happening, they chose to look the other way and underestimated the damage that would come from this type of behavior. Once it was discovered, managers and leaders blamed the lower level employees. From the outside looking in, the strategic plan the bank was using appeared to be strong and was assisting the bank to be successful. On the inside, the demands that the employees felt was what edged them to behave immorally and unethically. The employees were under such intense pressure to meet the sales quotas that they were willing to break external values to achieve the internal values. Wells Fargo had internal values that put a large emphasis on selling multiple products to existing customers. Employees were expected to meet high expectations of sales targets in order to earn their bonus and rewards. With so many unauthorized accounts open, customers had fees that reached about 2.5 million. The bank had to fire 5,300 employees and paid $185 million in fines. They also had set $5 million aside to repay customers. This organization paid heavily for the actions of its employees because of the unethical decisions that were made to achieve almost unattainable goals set by the bank internally. There were many violations, including banking laws, customer protection laws, as well as civil and criminal laws. Employees of the bank took advantage of their customers and ultimately broke the trust the customers once had in them. Maintaining a positive and successful culture in any organization is dependent on sticking to the mission, vision, and values of the organization, as well as setting obtainable goals for employees. Emotions such as fear can manipulate employees into behaving unethically to obtain goals by cutting corners or breaking ethical standards. Since a lot of organizations reward employees on positive work performance, and if they are meeting the quotas, organizations need to ensure that the goals are obtainable and train employees that under no circumstance is it acceptable to break rules or laws to obtain a goal. If organizations are serious about remaining ethical, they will ensure that employees can reach goals that they've set. Employees will also have a desirable behavior the organization expects because of the incentive structure and rewards that are in place. When an organization sets goals that are almost unattainable, unethical, or illegal behavior is more likely to occur. As of today, Wells Fargo says, and I quote, "We are committed to being the best we can be for each other, our customers, our communities, and our shareholders. We have the will and drive to build a better Wells Fargo every day. A successful strategic plan needs to be in place, needs to be in line with internal goals and values." As this story shows, it is extremely important to ensure that strategic plans are ethical and employees understand what the true values, mission is of the organization. What the organization needs to also make sure that the internal values encourage the ethical behavior from its employees to match their strategic plan. Again, this is Freddie Edwards. Thanks for your time.